Every day this never-ending pressure tries to take its claim over my heart. I have tried to hold it all together, but time and time again I fall apart. But that's where I find my life was never mine at all. You are the one inside, always in control. So when it feels like all of this pain is never gonna end, I to my knees by all of these things I don't understand, don't understand. I will let the weight of my fears fall like sand out of my hands and into yours, out of my hands and into yours. Hey guys, welcome into Faith in Football. My name is Neil and I'll be your host. Well, that song is Out of My Hands by Jeremy Camp. I encourage you on all your listening apps, all your music apps or music devices, go out and find out about him. He's a very well-known Christian artist. And today's episode, we're talking about environment. We're talking about environmental drafting, environmental roster management. But first and foremost, we're talking about how Jesus, when he was on this earth, he was always cognizant of his surroundings. He was always aware of his environment. There's several times in Scripture, in the Gospels, where something would happen and he would say things like, well, it's not my time, or, he would leave when they were trying to kill him, when he was making people mad about what he was saying. Usually it was the Pharisees who were the ruling class at the time in the Jewish community. I'm going to give you a few scriptures here today talking about environment. And the first one is John 2:4. It's the first time where Jesus performs a miracle. And it's kind of an impromptu thing, but he knew that his time hadn't come yet, but yet he still did the miracle because that's what his Father God showed him to do. So we go to John chapter 2, verse 4, and this is Jesus talking to his mother at a wedding in Canaan. He says, "Dear woman," I'm sorry, and a little context, they had run out of wine at the wedding, and everybody knows you don't run out of alcohol at a wedding, at any celebration. That's just bad form. So Jesus' mother Mary had come to him and was like, "Look, we ran out of wine." He says to her, "Dear woman, that's not our problem." And he says, "My time has not yet come." So he was aware that this wasn't the time that he was supposed to be publicly declared the Messiah. Like, his followers knew, they believed, because he had some disciples with him already. They knew that he was the Messiah. They believed that he was. But nobody else around him had been made aware yet, because it wasn't his time. But he performed this miracle to show his disciples, and the slaves were the only ones who knew about it. The servants were the only ones who knew. And then we go on to Luke chapter 4, verses 42 and 44. Now, this is where Jesus is preaching and he decides to move on. And he says, "I must preach the good news of the kingdom of God in other towns too, because that is why I was sent." See, he knew his purpose. He understood why he was there. And I mean, think about it. You're meant you're put on this earth to spread the good news, and you've got all these people around you just hanging on your every word, and you leave that place to go somewhere else that you don't know what the reception's going to be. But see, he had faith that his father was leading him to where he needed to be. So he was preaching to all these people, and he was like, hey, gotta go. So I mean, how many of us would have like imagine having a massive following on social media and then just stop and like make up another account just cuz and not tell anybody about it, just start from scratch? Would you really do that? I mean, I don't know many creators on YouTube or TikTok or many people on Facebook who would just shut everything down when they're ascending. But that's basically what Jesus did time and time again. He would shut down in one city and move on to the next because he knew that his time was done there and it was time for him to go on. Now, the last verse I'm going to give you is Luke chapter 22, verse 53. Now, this is Jesus is getting arrested, and he's basically telling these people, why didn't you arrest me before? Like, I was with you guys. I was there. Why didn't you get me then? He says, am I some dangerous revolutionary, he asked, that you come with swords and clubs to arrest me? Why didn't you arrest me in the temple? I was there every day, but this is your moment, the time when the power of darkness reigns. He knew what was happening. He knew it was his time to go to the cross. He knew that this was the avenue that he had to go on, the street that he had to walk down. He understood that. So I hope that encourages you that no matter where you're at, God has put you there for a purpose. It's up to us to open up our hearts, to open up our minds to what that purpose is through prayer, meditation, through the scripture, through doing what he has called us to do. So regardless of what your job is, regardless of what your situation is, regardless of your financial standing, your social standing, whatever, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are, you can be used for God. So I encourage you today, ask God to reveal his purpose for you, okay, and to you. Open up your heart. Holy Spirit, I'm ready. Use me. Now I'm gonna tell you, be ready. Be ready to go. Okay. When you open up, things might be asked of you that you're not comfortable with. That's okay. You can be uncomfortable. It's not always going to be comfortable. It's not always going to be easy, but it will be worth it, guys. I hope that encourages you. I hope you like the song, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're talking my top 5 most environmentally friendly teams. And before I go any farther, no, I'm not endorsed by Bang, but I love Bang. It's awesome. So if anybody's out there, I do take endorsements. Okay. Speaking of sponsorships, this show is sponsored. I have not voiced that in the last 2 because we had a lot of rookies out there, a lot of people that weren't weren't always comfortable with fantasy football. So I wanted to bring you in, and then we're going to hit you with the sponsorship. So we are sponsored by Zia of Lafayette. I'm actually right now working on a little promo just for my subscribers here in the area. So if you are in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, and you know where Zia of Lafayette is, they are on Doucette Road. They are right behind the Grand Theater, right in front of Red Laurel's Health Club. It's an awesome place. If you guys have time and you're in the area, please stop by. See Leonard and and Heath and all the guys down there. Uh, they've got amazing food. The grits, look, if you've got grits from Zia, you can pretty much trade that for anything in Lafayette. That's how well known they are. Go down there and see them. We are also sponsored by Keller's Bakery in Youngsville. And if you go into Keller's Bakery, you can, and you mention Faith and Football that you heard about them here, you can get 2 free mini cupcakes. These are phenomenal. Look, I've had these. We had them at our draft last year because they were sponsored last year of the show. They are amazing. My boy Dusty, who is part of my league of record here, he plays with us. His family owns a place, so we are very thankful for their sponsorship, and we are extremely thankful for the goodies that they provide for us at draft day. So if you want a couple of free mini cupcakes, go down there, check them out. You can get all kinds of flavors. We will have a list of them later on. But thank you to my sponsors. I appreciate you. But we're going to get right now into the top 5, my top 5 most environmentally friendly teams. Now, I know what you're thinking. What in the world is environmentally friendly? Well, here's the thing, is that I'm not a big stat guy, and I believe that the environment, the surrounding, the situation that the players are in, they create the stats. You don't get stats just for the sake of stats. It's everything around you. It's like we see players all the time go from team to team, and they either fall off or they increase. And we're like, well, wait a minute, where was this production later? I mean, a prime example is DeAndre Hopkins. D Hop was in Buffalo, and then he goes to Houston, and it's like he's got all these different quarterbacks, and he's doing awesome. Then you get a guy like Will Fuller, same team, same quarterbacks, but he's up and down. It's the environment. Okay. Now, yes, I'm not saying that DeAndre Hopkins is, the Will Fuller's on D Hop's level, but there is so much hype right now around Will Fuller in Miami. You have to think about it. It's not Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball, it's Tua. So yeah, that's going to be a little different. Okay. So these teams are not going to be your upper echelon teams. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about guys who they have a really good cast surrounding them. They have the potential to break out. They have the potential to increase their value. So these are teams to look at that have very environmentally friendly situations, and the players on here are extremely draft worthy. Okay, let's get into number 1, the Rams. Yes, the Rams. I know that here as of late, you cannot rely on a Rams quarterback, but they got a new quarterback. They got Matt Stafford. Now, Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, yeah, different quarterback. Okay. We all remember the heyday of Todd Gurley and Jared Goff when McShay got to LA. Well, that heyday, in my opinion, is about to return because you've got a top flight running back who's just ready to break out in Cam Akers. You've got a phenomenal defense. You got a very creative head coach and offensive coordinator. You've got wide receivers and tight ends with experience. It's not like these guys are coming in fresh. It's not like they're rookies that have to learn the NFL and learn a new system. These guys are already in the system. And Matt Stafford has been around long enough. He's 33. Okay. That's still got good years left on that arm. He's got a big arm. Now, the one thing I will tell you is that I don't believe that Tyler Higbee is going to be as effective as everyone thinks. Okay. Uh, I think that Matt Stafford wants to push the ball down the field. He's not a dump off guy. Um, but I think that Cam Akers is going to be very intricate in this system. So you got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, uh, Cam Akers, Matt Stafford. Now, for those of you who don't know, Matt Stafford, when he had his 8-game season before he got hurt, he was on a pace for about 5,300 yards and a slew of touchdowns. Okay. It was crazy. He's got an extra game this year. So he has the ability and he can create when things break down. That's something that we didn't really see from Jared Goff. Jared Goff, he needed that focus. He needed that system to work in order for him to be successful. And that didn't happen last year. And we saw what happened. He went down. Now, I remember a couple years back, I drafted Jared Goff thinking I was getting this stellar quarterback. And then I drafted a guy I kind of had a little inkling about. I was hoping he would be okay. I got him in the later rounds, and it was Lamar Jackson. And that was his MVP year. So needless to say, I was very happy that my first option at quarterback didn't work out. I was able to actually get second that year. I know I got beat my wife. Sorry, but it's good for the brain because I'm the only one she listens to for fantasy advice. So if you want a little extra something for your draft and for your season, down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share for me, guys. Number 2 is the Bengals. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Did I just say the Bengals? Yes, I just said the Bengals, guys. Look, last year I was standing on the table, beating the drum to not take Joe Mixon. Don't take Joe Burrow. He's a rookie. Let him prove it first. If you're going to take him as your second quarterback, okay? My boy Nick, you know who I'm talking. I'm talking to you right now. Okay. Nick took him as his first pick in our draft. I know he's an LSU guy. I'm in Louisiana. That's what you get. He could have got him a lot later, yes. But this year, I'm not saying draft him in the first round. Nick, calm down. Okay. Don't draft him in the first round, but you are going to have to draft him a little higher this year because Joe Burrow is for real. He is the quarterback that they thought he was going to be, so defenses are going to have to respect that. Not only that, but he just got his boy Jamar Chase back. College, pros, we're looking for the same magic. Now, a couple years ago, everybody remembers Dwayne Haskins. I know. I don't like talking about it either, but I'm going to have to. Look, Dwayne Haskins was coming out of Ohio State, and so was Terry McLaurin. They had time together. They supposedly had chemistry. Never worked out. Okay. But what people forget is that Dwayne Haskins really only played 1 year. Okay. So he had a 1 year where he was really, really good at Ohio State and then into the pros. So they were drafting on the probability that was going to carry over. It didn't. Sorry, we moved on. But this year, Chase and Joe, I believe, have a very good chemistry. They have a connection. Plus the fact that they got T. Higgins. They still got Tyler Boyd. They shipped out A.J. Green. And now they have Joe Mixon back, healthy, paid, got the second contract. This is ready for a bounce back. Joe Mixon is ready for the bounce back. Okay. They've got a really bad defense. Their defense still is horrible. So they're going to have to score at least like 35 points in order just to win games. Just to stay in them, they're going to have to score about 28. Okay, so you're looking at high production offense with a really bad defense. Those things are absolutely phenomenal for fantasy football. Okay, my next one, the Falcons. Yes, I'm in Louisiana, and I'm saying that the Falcons are on this list. Okay, I know. I'm hoping that this doesn't get back too much to my league mates at work. But look, they did not draft a quarterback. They did not draft a running back. Mike Davis has awesome potential. Okay, you already know they shipped off Julio. Julio's gone. They got probably one of the top tight end in the draft in Pitts. Okay, so Pitts will give the D fits. Okay, I know. See what I did there? That was pretty good, huh? I know. I'm a dad joke. Sorry, but look, they have a bad defense again, and like I just said, bad defenses are awesome for fantasy football. Whether you have them on your team or whether you're playing against them. Okay, if it's a bad defense, I mean, I would love to see a Cincinnati Atlanta matchup because that would just be fireworks. That would be awesome. It'd be a shootout. Trust me, Calvin Ridley is he is right now the lockdown number one. That's it. Everybody knows it. But here's the thing. They've got Pitts. They've got a couple other options that defenses are going to have to pay attention to. So it's going to be a pick your poison. Okay, it would have been a lot easier with Julio there to kind of take some distraction, be a decoy at times like it was last year. I had Julio. I'm kind of worried about drafting him again, even though he moved on to probably one of the better situations that he could have landed in Tennessee. But the Falcons are definitely a draft worthy team. Okay, you got Pitts, you got Calvin Ridley, Mike Davis. I really like a lot as a late pick. Okay, a lot of people are going to forget about him. A lot of people are going to forget that this guy was basically CMC light with Carolina and Teddy Bridgewater. Now you go to Atlanta with Matt Ryan. I'm really not seeing any drop off here for Mike Davis. I think that he is capable. Atlanta has always had a good tandem of running backs. Now they just have the one guy unless they add somebody. So keep an eye on that as we get closer to draft time. My number 4, the Browns. I know I'm shocking myself with this list. Okay. I can't believe that I put the Bengals, the Falcons, and the Browns on here. But I did. And here's why. Second year in the system for the offense. So you're talking about, Baker Mayfield. Mayfield, he basically has been screwed this whole time in the league, in his career. He's jumped from one coach to the other. They had Freddie Kitchens and now they've got Kevin Stefanski. So Stefanski has a really good system. It doesn't ask a lot of Baker. Doesn't ask him to do a whole lot out of his comfort zone. It allows him to have the freedom. They got Nick Chubb. They got Kareem Hunt. They got a good 1-2 punch there. They've got a good defense. So they rely heavily on the run, but with the defense that they have, it's going to give them a short field, which is going to allow them to score quicker and more often. Baker is finally going to live up to the hype that he had coming out of college. Okay, everybody remembers the hype behind Baker Mayfield. He was going to change the world, and especially a couple years ago when they got OBJ, he was going to come in and do it. Now, I'm not a big OBJ fan. I'm not drafting him in any league that I'm in. Jarvis Landry, love Jarvis Landry. Can't say enough good things about him. Austin Hooper at tight end. Now, Here's the thing. They made Austin Hooper before this offseason. He was the third highest paid tight end. Third, behind Kittle and Kelsey. I know. I was shocked to find out. Now he's the fifth behind Jonnu and Hunter Henry, both of which got paid by New England. Why New England paid that much for two tight ends, I don't know. But I'll tell you right now, I'm guessing that Mac Jones in New England is going to start a little earlier than a lot of people think. But I digress. Back to the Browns. I think that the Browns are going to be really, really good this year. I think they're going to be able to you're going to be able to rely on them in fantasy. If you want to take a flyer on Baker, okay, but he's still more of a streaming quarterback to me. He's a matchup quarterback to me. He's not somebody that you're going to rely on a lot or consistently. But that 1-2 punch of Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Look, last year when Chubb went down, Hunt was not what you thought he was going to be. Okay, he needs Nick Chubb there and healthy in order to do what he does. Okay, it was a absolute heart attack watching Kareem Hunt sometimes, because you look at halftime, he's got you like 0.5 points. Okay, because he caught a pass and then he might have fumbled or something like that. Hit a few yards, whatever. But then by the end of the game, he's got you like 15 points because third, fourth quarter, he's catching the ball, he's running in for a touchdown, he's doing in rounds, he's doing all this stuff. So he's very useful in the system, and it works. They get up by so many, and they're tired. They don't want to run Nick Chubb into the ground, so they put in Kareem Hunt at the end of the game. So it's one of those things where you just have to stay strong. You have to put him out there as a flex. I mean, Kareem Hunt's not really the guy that you're going to lean on as your RB2, but as a flex option, yeah, I'm cool with that. Now, my last team on this list, yeah, I had to play Homer. Sorry, I had to. I'm looking around the league. I'm like, who else has a really good environment? Look, Washington, you've got Fitzmagic. Okay, I can't wait for this season to start. Okay, aside from just the fact that it's fantasy, I'm a fantasy geek, and I love this stuff. I actually have a Washington team where I can confidently stream their quarterback. I mean, I haven't had that in God knows how long. So I've got a really good big arm quarterback with Fitzmagic. He's got nothing to lose. He's been on like 11 other teams. Okay, it's crazy how many teams this guy's been on. He's never been to the playoffs. Look, Fitzmagic, we want to get you there, buddy. Okay, we've got the tools for you. Okay, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas. Okay, now Logan Thomas, I'm going to bring this up. Fitzmagic really isn't a legend maker for tight ends, but I'm loving the connection he's going to have with Terry McLaurin. Okay, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, they're both ready to break out. Look, Washington's defense, top 5, if not top 3. Okay, maybe even top 2. I mean, them and the Rams, those two. Look, if I'm drafting the defense, I'm looking at this. Just look at the division. Dak's coming back from injury. Okay, you got Daniel Jones, who's a make it or break it year. Jalen Hurts in Philly, who we're really not sure what he's going to be. I mean, the few games that we saw him last year, he was running around like a madman, but that can be contained. Okay, I don't see a world where Washington doesn't repeat this year. Yes, I have the blinders on. Yes, I do. I'll be honest with you. I'll admit this. Okay, so here's the thing: is that Washington has a big arm quarterback that's got nothing to lose. their wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, their running back in Antonio Gibson. These guys are ready to break out. Okay, they really didn't do a whole lot draft-wise. They're building this team the right way. And Riverboat Ron, he ain't afraid to take a chance. He'll throw that ball down the field. Look out for Washington's offensive weapons this year. I'm telling you, okay? Real quick, I'm going to go over some rookie quarterbacks that have a good environment, or talk about the environment. I'm sorry. Let me talk about the environment that they have, okay? And then what I'll do is the next show that we do, we'll do wide receivers and running backs, their environment, the rookies for the next show, okay, guys? So rookie environments for the quarterbacks. Now, I'm just going to do the top 5. I'm not going through the whole slew of rookie quarterbacks because they're not relevant, okay? But I'm focusing right now on the guys who are relevant. Number 1, yes, he was number 1 on your draft board. He was number 1 pick. A lot of you just said it as I took that sip. Trevor Lawrence from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look, he's got a new coaching staff. They got a bad defense. He's got a familiar running back, and he's going to be the week 1 starter, okay? Can you draft Trevor Lawrence for fantasy? You can. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I wouldn't, but, you know, here's the thing, and this is the whole reason I'm using this as I'm calling it the Joe Mixon rule, okay? Last year, I said, don't draft Joe Mixon, okay? Don't expect a lot of him. And people still drafted him highly, okay? And he had 1 good game. That was it. Then he either got hurt or his production declined, okay? Why? What happens when you have a rookie quarterback is that the defenses basically go, prove to us that you belong in the NFL. So Trevor Lawrence, yeah, he's got the ability. We've seen him on the big stage, but we also saw him lose badly at times on the big stage. Okay, yes, he didn't perform that well at times, and yeah, they might have sneaked out a win, but I'm not like going gaga over this guy. Okay, not for fantasy. I was originally born in Springfield, Missouri, so you're gonna have to show me. Okay, Trevor Lawrence, I like what I'm seeing out of him so far in camp, but that's camp. That's guys who already know the playbook and everything, and this isn't, game time. So let's see what happens during preseason, and we'll be able to make a better decision then. Okay. Next guy up is Trey Lance. Now, here's the thing. Trey Lance, if you're in a dynasty league, okay, I can see a dynasty league. I can see you thinking that, okay, this guy is eventually going to supplant Jimmy Garoppolo in San Fran. But for right now, this guy's coming from a smaller school. And this is the knock on him, and this is the knock on Zach Wilson as well, is that they come from smaller schools. The level of competition is not there. We really don't know what they're all about, okay? Now, his path is not as straight. Now, he might be a last pick and a stash type guy where, like, if you're in your draft and you're down in round 13, 14, 15, and you go, you know what? I got a good quarterback. I got a good lineup. I like it. I got a guy or two that I can drop if they don't work out and stream a quarterback at times. Let me go ahead and take Trey Lance. Just see what happens. Okay, now look, I love Kyle Shanahan in San Fran. He used to be with Washington. Him and McVay, and we let them both slip. I know. I'm still bitter about that. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Trey Lance, I think, has the capability to be a really good fantasy quarterback. He's got a good rushing upside, but for right now, as we stand, nah. Okay, I'm not putting a lot of faith in this guy. He's got the weapons around him, but I don't know really how well they're gonna go with what he does. Okay, but like I said, time will tell. Zach Wilson, Zach's going to be the number one starter. We already know this. The thing is, there's no familiar pieces there for him. Okay, not like with Trevor Lawrence. They went out and got Travis Etienne. Um, they know each other. They've been handing the ball off to each other for the last 3 years. Okay, so there's a new staff. They're going to want to, come in and look. It's the Jets. I'm not expecting a lot from them, but I am very confident and very hopeful for this new Jets look. Okay, I like Zach Wilson. Everything I've seen from this guy, there's just something about this guy I really, really like. Okay, I can't put my finger on it. He's got a really good possible rushing upside. Okay, so if you're looking for a good rushing quarterback, this is going to be your guy. If you want to stash him, cool. Mac Jones, look, Cam's going to be on a short leash. We already know that he gets butthurt a lot. Okay, so look for that. And then his tight end, he has tight ends. He's got running backs. If he gets in, Damien Harris's fantasy value through the roof. Okay, right now with Cam as the starting QB, when he gets down to the goal line, you got Cam is probably going to run it in. Okay, last year they were not doing a whole lot of handing off to the running back. It was Cam just running the ball in. I think he had like 12 rushing touchdowns. It was crazy. But that's not Mac Jones's game. If they get Mac Jones from the 10 and in, 10 to the goal line, look, Jonnu is going to be there. Damon Harris is going to be there. Those are guys that that Belichick is going to take shots with. Okay, they got a good defense. They're going to have a lot of players back, so they're going to get short fields at times. I mean, and just look at the division. I mean, the division's been horrible this year. Yes, I'm projecting Buffalo to be the champs again, but look for New England to do what New England does. No, not cheat. Just no. I'm not going to say it. I'm not. But if you want to think that, that's on you. Number 5, my last one, guys. Justin Fields. Look, they traded up to get Fields. Chicago's got a really good defense. He's been on the big stage, just like Trevor Lawrence. And I like Justin Fields' poise a little more than Trevor Lawrence's. There's just something about Trevor Lawrence. He just seems a little scattered to me at times when pressure's on. Justin Fields just feels a little calmer when it's when it's really pressure time. And we all know that Andy Dalton is not the answer. Look, if Andy Dalton was the answer, they wouldn't have traded up to get Fields. It's just that simple. Okay. When is he going to start? I would say unless he clearly beats out Andy Dalton in training camp or in preseason, I would give him at least until maybe week 4 or 5 before you see Justin Fields on the field in place of Dalton. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the Bears play the Bengals in week 3, I think. So that's going to be a revenge game. I would think that they would hold Andy Dalton out as a little something to him because when he got there, rumor has it that he was told by the coaching staff that he was the guy. And we all know how Matt Nagy is just like, pick a card, any card. I got you. Come on, guys, pick a card. Who's? Oh, nope, it's not that guy. It's not that guy. I'm not going to start him. He's just like that. So I don't know. Nagy's on the hot seat this year. He was on the hot seat last year. They just squeaked out enough, I think, to keep his job. But having a brand new quarterback They drafted one. They brought another one in. I think if it doesn't work out this year, Matt Nagy's gone, and he knows it. So look for Dalton to be on a short leash, just like Cam. And I see, like I said, I see Justin Field in week 4 or 5. So that's environmentally friendly teams and quarterbacks, rookie quarterback situations and environments. We're going to talk running backs, wide receivers next episode, and we're going to go over a little bit more about the environmental drafting and roster management. Okay, guys? So maybe even have a little mock draft. How about that? So down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you to my sponsors, Zia of Lafayette and Keller's Bakery in Youngsville. Don't forget, go by, tell them that Faith in Football sent you, and get you 2 free mini cupcakes. Guys, my name is Neil. This has been Faith in Football. Remember, we are the fantasy show with a little higher calling. So I hope your day is awesome. I hope it's filled with light and purpose. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you next time on Faith and Football.